I've used slightly less foreboding music as we lead into this particular discussion. This is the sixth in our Lent series building up to Easter, called The Mystic Bible. And in front of you, you'll see another wonderful woodprint image from this 500-year-old Bible. And this particular one shows the birth of Perez and Zerah to their mum, Tamar. And Tamar was potentially a lady of ill repute. And the story is a complex one in which she is going to be killed because of her profession, but ultimately because of who the father of the children, the twins are. She is saved, the children are saved. And ultimately, it's not a particularly significant Bible story in itself, other than ultimately, I think Perez goes on to be one of the ancestors of David, and the line of David, of course, is where Jesus came from. So there is some significance there. No, the key thing here is that we're looking at chaos, mayhem. We're looking at the children being born and being washed. Now, it's not particularly in the Bible story, but we're surrounded here by the other concubines potentially, or the midwives. There's a lot of people in the room, and there's a lot of chaos. And I'm going to use it today just to illustrate a point about our fears and concerns around the supernatural and the mystical. We do have these fears and we have these concerns, and one of the reasons is, of course, is that it feels chaotic. Just to talk about there being greater powers out there, and the whole description about the idea of God is, to some people, understandably, such a massive and scary idea that people don't want to open themselves up to it. So a key starting point, so we're going to get into the practical stuff now, really, but a key starting point is to make sure that you are in a safe place. It sounds like a safeguarding talk, and in many ways this is early safeguarding, really. In order not to feel that you're in chaos, one of the really important things is to make sure that whatever spirituality, whatever religious practice you undertake, that you do so in what you feel is a safe place. Ultimately, this isn't about anybody else in terms of your faith journey. This is about you being able to engage with the spiritual. And to do that, we often use things to make ourselves feel comfortable. Now, you only have to look at church history to understand some of that. You light a candle, you sit in an echoey church or whatever, you pray quietly in the Lady Chapel at some old cathedral. Churches and many worship places, mosques and temples, are specifically designed to be safe places to engage with spirituality. But what we mustn't end up doing is engaging with spirituality at the behest of someone else, someone forcing us into a place where we're uncomfortable, or leading us in a strange direction, or perhaps setting up an environment that we're not comfortable with. So that's my little thought for today as we look at the chaos and the mayhem in front of us of the birth of the twins to Tamar. We see in that some of the fear that we have of the kind of strange engagement with the supernatural, and opening ourselves up to understanding this great and all-powerful God who can be so much a personal part of our lives. And that fear is one of those things that we can help to set aside by doing proper safeguarding, by making sure that we undertake these things in a place where we feel completely comfortable. And that's why it often takes practice. That's why we repeat the same thing sometimes week in, week out in a church. That's why quite often there are chants and things, and we'll go into that over the next couple of sessions. But the starting place is do this in a safe place. See you tomorrow.